Queer culture in Hollywood has been around for as long as there's been a Hollywood, but due to social pressures and the interests of the entertainment industry, movie stars from decades past often had to keep their private lives a secret. Number 10. Gene Acker. In the silent film era, Hollywood studios went to great lengths to maintain the illusion of the perfect straight star. One tactic they employed was arranging marriages for gay or lesbian stars to conceal their true sexuality. Gene Acker, known for her role in Checkers, was one such actress caught in this web of secrecy. Her story took an unexpected turn when she married none other than Rudolph Valentino, the rising star of The Chic. At the time, Acker was significantly more famous than Valentino, but their marriage was far from a traditional love story. According to the New York Times, their union was a marriage of convenience. Valentino believed that marrying Acker, a lesbian actress, might boost his career. So, on a whim, they tied the knot. However, the night of their wedding, things took a dramatic turn when Acker reportedly slammed the door in his face. Pop Sugar reveals that they never consummated their marriage, and Valentino seemed oblivious to his wife's true sexuality. Undeterred, he continued to send her love letters for months after their nuptials. However, it soon became apparent that Acker was entangled in a lesbian love triangle at the time of the wedding. She had allegedly married Valentino to shield herself from potential scandal, but immediately regretted the decision, leading to their inevitable divorce. Gene Acker, born Harriet Ackers on October 23, 1892 in New Jersey, had an interesting journey to Hollywood. Her father, part Cherokee, owned a bowling alley and a restaurant, and the family later moved to Lewistown, Pennsylvania. Acker's career began in vaudeville, and she made her film debut in the 1913 short The Man Outside. Standing at just 5 feet 3 inches tall, she was known for her dark beauty and had a range of hobbies, including reading, music, and horseback riding. In 1918, Acker made a pivotal move to Hollywood, where her romantic life took an unexpected twist. She became romantically involved with Alla Nazimova, a popular Russian actress who helped Acker secure a studio contract worth $200 a week. Between 1919 and 1920, Acker appeared in 9 films, including Never Say Quit, Checkers, and The Ladder of Lies. Simultaneously, she began dating actress Grace Darmond. During this time, she also struck up a close relationship with Rudolph Valentino. The unexpected happened on November 5, 1919, when Acker impulsively eloped with Valentino. However, the marriage quickly turned into a regrettable decision, symbolized by Acker locking Valentino out of their hotel room on their wedding night. Their marriage remained unconsummated, and Acker resumed her romance with Grace Darmond. It wasn't until 1921 that she filed for divorce, with the divorce trial revealing the unconventional love triangle. Notably, Rudolph Valentino was arrested for bigamy due to his subsequent marriage to Natasha Rambova, and Acker testified against him. Following the divorce, Acker continued to act in films such as Her Own Money and The Nest, but she never achieved major stardom. Her life took a drastic turn in 1929 when she lost her entire fortune in the stock market crash. In the early 1930s, she found love again with Chloe Carter, a former Ziegfeld girl. Acker returned to acting in 1933, appearing in the comedy No Marriage Ties. In an interview, she expressed her happiness, stating, quote, "I'm happier today. I have a truer sense of values." During the 1940s, Acker had bit parts in movies like My Favorite Wife and the classic It's a Wonderful Life. Her final appearance was in the 1955 musical How to Be Very, Very Popular, alongside Betty Grable. Later in life, she and Chloe purchased an apartment building in Los Angeles, where they remained devoted to each other until Acker's passing on August 16, 1978, at the age of 84. Number 9. Ona Munson. As a child, Ona took singing and dancing lessons, hinting at the artistic inclinations that would shape her life. At the age of 14, she embarked on a significant move to New York City, accompanied by her mother, to pursue her dreams in show business. Her career kicked off in vaudeville, showcasing her talents and setting the stage for her future endeavors. In 1919, Munson made her Broadway debut in George White's Scandals, marking the beginning of her successful stage career. She graced several hit Broadway shows, including No, No, Nanette and Hold Everything. In 1926, she took a significant step in her personal life by marrying stage actor Edward Buzzell. However, her career and personal life soon took unexpected turns. In 1930, Munson ventured to Hollywood to star in the comedy Going Wild. It was around this time that she divorced her husband and embarked on a romance with director Ernst Lubitsch. Her Hollywood journey continued with roles in films like The Hot Heiress alongside Ben Lyon and Broad-Minded with Joe E. Brown. Despite her success in Hollywood, Munson periodically returned to Broadway, making a notable appearance in 1933 for a production of Hold Your Horses. During her time on Broadway, while working on the show Ghosts, she engaged in a brief romance with actress Alla Nazimova. This was just one of several high-profile relationships in her life, including connections with Greta Garbo, Tallulah Bankhead, and director Dorothy Arzner. In 1939, Munson landed a role that would define her career. Belle Watling, a Southern madam in the epic film Gone with the Wind. The film's colossal success, however, led to typecasting in similar roles. She received critical acclaim for her portrayal of another madam in the film noir The Shanghai Gesture. Behind the scenes, Munson had a passionate love affair with playwright Mercedes de Acosta. She once described their connection as sharing, quote, the deepest spiritual moment that life brings. Fearing exposure as a lesbian in a less accepting era, she ended the relationship and in 1941 entered into a marriage of convenience with Stuart McDonald, a loan administrator who was also gay. During World War II, Munson was selected to be Hollywood's official hostess, acting as a godmother to hundreds of soldiers. She continued to make movies at Warner Brothers, but her career faced challenges. Her final film was the 1947 thriller The Red House. Munson's personal life took another turn when she divorced Stuart McDonald and married French painter Eugene Berman in 1950. This marriage, too, was a so-called lavender marriage with a gay partner. The couple relocated to an apartment in the Belle Nord on Manhattan's Upper West Side. In the early 1950s, Ona made occasional appearances on TV, but health problems and deepening depression took a toll on her. Tragically, on February 11, 1955, at the age of 51, Ona Munson took her own life by overdosing on sleeping pills. In a heart-wrenching note, she expressed, quote, "This is the only way I know to be free again. Please don't follow me." Number 8. Patsy Kelly. Unlike many of her rivals in the 30s and 40s, Patsy Kelly refused to hide her true self and boldly lived life on her own terms. She was a lesbian comedy star who stood firmly outside the closet, embracing her identity with pride. Born Bridget Sarah Veronica Rose Kelly on January 12, 1910 in Brooklyn, New York, she had an early introduction to the world of entertainment. As a child, Patsy attended a professional dancing school where she crossed paths with the future star Ruby Keeler. Her journey into showbiz began during her teenage years when she started performing in vaudeville. Patsy's talent and charisma did not go unnoticed, and she soon found herself working alongside comedian Frank Fay for 3 years. Her career continued to flourish as she took the stage in several Broadway shows, earning her stripes as a performer. In 1933, her life took a significant turn when she was signed by producer Hal Roach. Hal Roach paired Patsy Kelly with actress Thelma Todd in a series of comedy shorts, and their chemistry was undeniable. Together, they became a beloved on-screen duo, starring in over 20 films that left audiences in stitches. Among their memorable collaborations were titles like Top Flat and Done in Oil, solidifying Patsy's reputation as, quote, the queen of the wisecracks. However, Patsy Kelly was more than just a talented comedian. She was also an openly gay woman in an industry where many chose to keep their sexuality hidden. She fearlessly declared herself a quote, dyke who lived with her girlfriend and had no intention of ever marrying. Her outspokenness on her sexual orientation wasn't without consequences, as many studios hesitated to hire her due to her candor. In her personal life, Patsy had a long-term romantic relationship with actress Wilma Cox, which came to an end in the early 40s. Unfortunately, during this period, her life took a tumultuous turn as she battled alcoholism and found herself in the headlines for erratic behavior. Numerous Hollywood nightclubs even ejected her for getting drunk. Choosing to take a step back from show business, Patsy moved to New York City, where her life took yet another intriguing twist. She began dating the legendary actress Tallulah Bankhead and worked as her secretary. However, the stage continued to beckon, and Patsy returned to acting, making appearances on various television shows. She also took on small roles in notable films such as Rosemary's Baby and Freaky Friday. In 1971, Patsy Kelly received the ultimate recognition for her talent when she won a Tony Award for her performance in No No Nanette. Later in her life, Patsy faced health challenges, including a stroke, which led her to reside in a nursing home. On September 24, 1981, she passed away from pneumonia. Number 7. Mercedes de Acosta. Mercedes de Acosta, a playwright and screenwriter, made waves not only for her literary achievements, but also for her unabashed pursuit of romance with some of the most iconic women of her era. Her legendary lovers included Greta Garbo, Alla Nazimova, Catherine Cornell, Isadora Duncan, Eva Le Gallienne, Marlene Dietrich, Ona Munson, Eleonora Duse, Barbara Stanwyck, Tallulah Bankhead, Salka Viertel, and Eva Herman, just to name a few. Born Owena Elizabeth Walcott on June 16, 1903 in Portland, Oregon, Mercedes de Acosta was anything but conventional from the start. Even in her childhood, she harbored a unique sense of identity, often referring to herself as Raphael. Her mother, likely recognizing her daughter's distinctive spirit, playfully called her by this name. They had no idea that Mercedes would go on to challenge societal norms in a way that was both groundbreaking and courageous. Before becoming a prolific seducer of Hollywood's leading ladies, Mercedes embarked on a journey of self-discovery. She was a woman who thought she was a little boy, and this sense of identity would set the stage for her unconventional life. Her early years were marked by a sense of curiosity and a deep connection to her own individuality. Her legacy in the world of romance and seduction became legendary. She had passionate love affairs with some of the most influential women of her time. Eva Le Gallienne, Alla Nazimova, and Isadora Duncan were just a few of the remarkable women who fell under her spell. Yet her most famous relationship was with the enigmatic Greta Garbo. In 1920, Mercedes de Acosta married a heterosexual man, but she insisted that the wedding remain private. Her demeanor on her wedding night was notably somber, far from the jubilation one would expect. This early marriage hinted at her complex relationship with societal expectations and norms. Mercedes was a poet and playwright, but it is her relationships with other women that often overshadowed her literary achievements. Her lovers included Hollywood luminaries like Greta Garbo and Marlene Dietrich, as well as renowned dancer Isadora Duncan. She was once described as, quote, the greatest star ever due to her numerous high-profile romances. In her 1960 memoir, Here Lies the Heart, Mercedes documented her life, loves, travels, and experiences. Number 6. Dorothy Arzner. During an era when male directors dominated Hollywood, Dorothy Arzner stood out not only as a talented filmmaker, but also as a trailblazer for women in the industry. Breaking multiple barriers, she directed over 20 films in just 24 years, earning her a place in history as the only female director in Hollywood at the time. Born in 1897, Arzner defied societal expectations from the outset. In a time when women had limited opportunities in the film industry, she embarked on a career that would leave an indelible mark. Her journey in Hollywood was marked by her determination to pave the way for future generations of female filmmakers. Arzner's remarkable career spanned from 1928 to 1943, during which she directed both silent and talkie films, amassing a total of 20 movies, a record in Hollywood at the time. 11 of these films were created during her tenure at Paramount Pictures, where she made history as the first female member of the Directors Guild of America. Among her notable achievements, Arzner directed some of the biggest stars of her era, including Katharine Hepburn, Joan Crawford, and Lucille Ball. Her work was characterized by a unique focus on stories of female bonding and the female journey, which was groundbreaking in an industry that often objectified women. Arzner's films portrayed women as protagonists and navigators of their own stories, rather than mere victims or objects of desire. Arzner's contributions to cinema extended beyond her directing roles, as she also played a pivotal role in mentoring future filmmakers, including Francis Ford Coppola, who studied under her tutelage at UCLA's film school in the 1960s. Arzner's legacy continued to shine even after her departure from Hollywood in 1943. She continued to work in the entertainment industry, directing television commercials and producing plays. Her commitment to advancing the art of filmmaking persisted through her teaching role at the UCLA Film School, where she shared her wisdom in screenwriting and directing from 1959 to 1965. Dorothy Arzner passed away in 1979 at the age of 82. Number 5. Eva Le Gallienne. Eva Le Gallienne was a woman of extraordinary talent and complex personal experiences. Born in 1899, she became an icon in the theater world during her lifetime. While she didn't actively conceal her sexuality, Eva's relationships with women were both a source of personal struggle and enduring love. At the height of her fame, Eva began a relationship with Alla Nazimova, a celebrated actress of her time. Their connection was a significant chapter in Eva's life. After parting ways with Nazimova, she entered into a romantic relationship with Mercedes de Acosta, embarking on journeys together across Europe. Their presence was often noted in the salon of the renowned openly lesbian socialite Natalie Barn. Eva's love life was not without controversy. Her involvement with actress Josephine Hutchison, who was married at the time, became a sensational scandal in the press. The affair led Eva to remark to a friend, quote, "If you have any thoughts about being a lesbian, don't do it. Your life will be nothing but tragedy." This period in her life highlighted the challenges she faced as an openly queer woman in a society that often vilified her choices. Despite the tumultuous nature of her relationships, Eva also found love and artistic partnership in her life. She became deeply involved with director Margaret Webster, and together they co-founded the American Repertory Theater. Eva's life was marked by both professional success and personal adversity. In 1931, she suffered severe burns on her hands due to a gas stove explosion at her home. While a series of operations only partially restored the use of her hands, Eva's indomitable spirit allowed her to adapt and continue her acting career, with most audiences unaware of her disability. Eva's sexuality was no secret, and her relationships with famous women of her time, including Tallulah Bankhead, were widely reported. However, interpretations of her own views on her identity vary. Some suggest that she struggled with self-loathing, particularly during the aftermath of the Hutchinson scandal, when she turned to heavy drinking. However, Eva's biographer, Helen Sheehy, paints a different picture. Sheehy quotes Eva's advice to her friend, May Sarton, another lesbian, as evidence of a more nuanced perspective. Quote, "People hate what they don't understand and try to deny it. Only try to keep yourself clear and don't allow that destructive force to spoil something that to you is simple, natural, and beautiful." Number 4. Alla Nazimova. Alla Nazimova, whose real name was Miriam Adez Adelaide Leventon, was a prominent actress born in 1879 in Volta, Crimea, which was then part of the Russian Empire. She emerged as a pioneering figure in Hollywood and is often referred to as the founding mother of Sapphic Hollywood due to her prominent role in the homosexual community during the early days of the film industry. Nazimova's journey to stardom was marked by early difficulties, including her parents' divorce and time spent in boarding schools and foster homes. She developed a passion for theater at a young age and moved to Moscow, where she received training at the Academy of Acting. Joining the Moscow Art Theater, she adopted the stage name Alla Nazimova by combining the diminutive for Adelaide with the last name of a character from a Russian novel. Her success in Russian theaters in Moscow and St. Petersburg paved the way for a European tour and performances in major capital cities. She achieved acclaim for her roles in works by playwrights like Ibsen and Chekhov, earning recognition as a talented actress. In 1915, her success in the play War Brides led to her film debut in its adaptation the following year. Nazimova portrayed a suffragette, and her early films aligned with her feminist beliefs. By 1917, Nazimova had relocated to Hollywood and signed a contract with Metro Pictures Corporation, marking the beginning of her film career. She was known for writing and starring in her own movies, producing 9 feature-length films under her own company, Nazimova Productions, while working with Metro. Nazimova's Hollywood estate on Sunset Boulevard, known as the Garden of Allah, became famous for its wild and outlandish parties. In 1926, she converted the estate into a hotel. It was at these gatherings that Nazimova's connections to the homosexual community in Hollywood became more apparent. While her first marriage to Sergei Giovin remained largely obscure, her second marriage to Charles Bryant from 1912 to 1925 was a lavender wedding, a cover for her same-sex relationships with women. Nazimova was a central figure in Hollywood's queer community and is credited with coining the term sewing circle to refer to lesbian, bisexual, or bi-curious women in Hollywood who concealed their sexual identities. She was not secretive about her own preferences and had relationships with several women, including actresses Jean Acker, Eva Le Gallienne, writer Mercedes de Acosta, Dolly Wilde, Oscar Wilde's niece, and director Dorothy Arzner. She was also rumored to have been involved with painter Bridget Bate Titchener and actress Natasha Rambova. These relationships often played out both on and off the screen. Her films frequently depicted lesbian affection and featured kisses between female co-stars, though this was often portrayed in character. Nazimova also hired many of her sewing circle members behind the camera and helped launch the careers of actresses Jean Acker and Natasha Rambova, both of whom were married to Rudolph Valentino. As her popularity dwindled, Nazimova began to take aesthetic risks in her work that went beyond the taste of mainstream audiences, further damaging her career. One of her most significant but commercially unsuccessful films was Salome, released in 1923. It featured an all-gay cast and a surreal expressionist production style aimed at producing a, quote, female movie modernism. In 1938, Nazimova underwent major surgery for breast cancer. Attempting a comeback afterward, she realized that Hollywood had little room for an actress in her 60s. She accepted small roles and lived a modest life in an apartment above the garage of her Sunset Boulevard mansion, where she resided with her partner of 17 years, Gleska Marshall, until her death in 1945. Number 3. Lizabeth Scott. Lizabeth Scott was more than just a sultry blonde bombshell with a smoky voice. She was a remarkable actress with a unique style and grace that set her apart in the world of film noir. Often compared to the legendary Lauren Bacall, Scott carved out her own distinct identity in Hollywood. However, her career took a sharp downturn following a scandalous exposé in Confidential magazine in 1954. Born as Emma Matza on September 29, 1922 in Scranton, Pennsylvania, Lizabeth was the eldest of 6 children. Her father, John Matza, owned Matza's Market. She received her education at Marywood Seminary, a Catholic girls' school, and later attended Scranton High School, where she made several appearances in school plays. At the age of 17, she embarked on a modeling career with the Walter Thornton Agency in New York City. Her journey in showbiz took her on tour with the road company of Hell Is a Poppin' and landed her roles in off-Broadway productions like Rain. The turning point in Elizabeth's career came when she was chosen as Tallulah Bankhead's understudy in the Broadway show The Skin of Our Teeth. During this time, she engaged in a tumultuous relationship with Tallulah and had an affair with the show's married producer, Michael Meyerberg. It was her screen test that caught the attention of producer Hal B. Wallace, leading to a long-term contract with Paramount. Her film debut came in 1945 with the comedy You Came Along. Lisbeth quickly became a sought-after actress, starring alongside the likes of Barbara Stanwyck in the film noir The Strange Love of Martha Ivers, and Burt Lancaster in Dead Reckoning. Her long, blonde hair and sultry voice made her the quintessential femme fatale. She continued to shine in roles in films such as Desert Fury, I Walk Alone, and Dark City. However, rumors about her sexuality began circulating, fueled by her solitary lifestyle and lack of public relationships. In 1949, while filming The Big Steal, Lisbeth suffered a breakdown on set, leading to her replacement by Jane Greer. Attempting to change her hard-boiled image, she worked with Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis in the 1953 comedy Scared Stiff, though most of her scenes were eventually cut. By 1954, her contract with Paramount had expired, and her career was facing difficulties. Stage fright added to her woes. The turning point came in the summer of 1955 when Confidential magazine published a story claiming that Lisbeth Scott was a lesbian who had hired call girls. Fuming with anger, she filed a $2.5 million libel suit, but the trial in California ended in a mistrial. Although she filed a lawsuit, her reputation was already damaged. In 1957, Lisbeth appeared as Elvis Presley's leading lady in Loving You, and she even recorded her own album. Around this time, her long-term affair with Hal came to an end. During the 1960s, she made sporadic guest appearances on television and pursued studies at the University of Southern California. She announced her engagement to oil executive William Duger in 1969, but sadly, he passed away before they could marry. Her final acting role came in the 1972 comedy Pulp. Subsequently, she transitioned into the real estate industry. In her later years, she became increasingly reclusive, rejecting all interview requests. She formed a close relationship with Michael Jackson, who often accompanied her around Los Angeles. On January 31, 2015, Lisbeth Scott passed away from congestive heart failure at the age of 92. She was cremated, and her ashes were entrusted to a friend. Number 2. Barbara Stanwyck. Barbara Stanwyck, one of the most accomplished actresses in Old Hollywood, appeared in almost 85 films over a remarkable 60-year career. Her outstanding contributions to the film industry earned her 4 Academy Award nominations, an honorary Oscar in 1982, and the prestigious Cecil B. DeMille Award in 1986. Despite her fame and success, Stanwyck's personal life, especially her sexual orientation, has been the subject of speculation and rumors. Throughout her life, Stanwyck's sexuality seemed to be an open secret in the entertainment industry. Actor Clifton Webb once famously referred to her as, quote, "my favorite Hollywood lesbian." Biographer Axel Madsen, who chronicled her life, noted that, quote, "people would swear that she was Hollywood's biggest closeted lesbian." Stanwyck's on-screen portrayals often resonated with her LGBTQ+ fans. Even in movies where she had to pretend to be in love with male co-stars, her performances subtly signaled her genuine attraction to women. Her roles were defined by characters who asserted themselves on their own terms, and Stanwyck's emotional honesty in her acting set her apart. The way she related to men on screen was distinctive, suggesting a difference in her approach. Despite her closeted sexuality, Stanwyck was a woman of ambition. She channeled her energy and determination into a formidable career, which included enduring 2 marriages. However, there have long been suggestions that these unions might have been lavender marriages, arrangements orchestrated by the studio to conceal her true sexual orientation. Stanwyck's first marriage to vaudeville star Frank Fay was challenging and relatively short-lived. The tumultuous relationship inspired the film A Star is Born. It has been suggested that the marriage served as a facade while she explored her true feelings. Her second marriage to actor Robert Taylor raised similar suspicions. There were reports that Taylor himself disclosed Barbara's lesbianism to another actress, casting further doubt on the authenticity of their relationship. While Barbara Stanwyck did not publicly discuss her sexuality during her lifetime, there has been a persistent fascination with her personal life and sexual preferences. Author Bose Hadley once attempted to broach the topic in an interview, but was promptly ejected from her house after inquiring about bisexuality in Hollywood. When he asked if bisexuality was widespread among female stars during Hollywood's golden era, Stanwyck responded cryptically, "I heard that Dietrich, Garbo, most of the girls from Europe swing either way. Then I found out it's true." Pushing the topic further, Hadley asked, "You found out?" Stanwyck deflected with a simple, "Next," and that was the end of the discussion. The interview became infamous, and Time magazine even likened Hadley's questions to senior abuse. Number 1. Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn, the iconic blonde bombshell of Hollywood's golden era, continues to captivate our imaginations with her legendary beauty and charisma. While much of her life was lived in the public eye, there have long been rumors and claims about her alleged same-sex love affairs. Let's take a closer look at some of the intriguing reports and accounts regarding Marilyn's relationships with women. In her 2012 book, Marilyn, The Passion and the Paradox, author Lois Banner delves into Marilyn's complex personal life and sexuality. Banner suggests that Marilyn, quote, desired women, had affairs with them, and worried that she might be lesbian by nature. While such claims are speculative, they have added to the mystique surrounding the actress. According to Michelle Morgan's biography, Marilyn Monroe, Private and Undisclosed, Marilyn was rumored to have had sexual encounters with several prominent women in Hollywood. These alleged liaisons included Elizabeth Taylor, Barbara Stanwyck, Marlene Dietrich, and Joan Crawford. Transcripts of Marilyn's therapy sessions with Dr. Ralph Greenson, her psychoanalyst, contain intriguing anecdotes. In one session, Marilyn reportedly recounted an intimate encounter with Joan Crawford, describing Crawford as having a gigantic orgasm and behaving exuberantly. Marilyn also claimed that Crawford pursued another encounter, which she declined, leading to what she described as Crawford becoming spiteful. Additionally, Judy Garland is reported to have said that Marilyn pursued her at a party. Garland recalled that Marilyn followed her from room to room, suggesting an amorous interest. Marilyn's relationships with women extended beyond rumored Hollywood liaisons. She had affairs with her acting teachers, Paula Strasberg and Natasha Lightis. Lightis, in particular, had a tumultuous relationship with Marilyn. According to Lightis, Marilyn exploited her feelings, and the breakup of their relationship was characterized as brutal. In a complex twist, Marilyn claimed that she was the one in need, despite being the younger party in the affair. These untold stories of Hollywood's golden age remind us of the courage it took to be true to oneself in a time of secrecy. If you found this journey through history intriguing, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more fascinating insights into the world of cinema. Thank you for watching.